Leadership with yourself and others, especially as a woman, is a combination of when to lead with emotions and when not to. Emotion versus logic. When to include emotional empathy and compassion and when not to in order to create an effective outcome results, especially with business associates, your team, and your customers or clients. There are different types of emotional guidelines with romantic relationships, family, and friends, but knowing when, how, and what type of emotions to express will most likely influence how others respond and react to you. How many of you know who Tony Robbins is? Well, in the late 1990s, Tony sold his training franchises for a while, providing me the opportunity to work for a couple of them. Most of the training was provided with Tony on video and franchise owners facilitating some of the training exercises as well as additional training and coaching. I started out as a sales rep, became certified as a coach and speaker, and immersed myself in learning everything I could from Tony Robbins. During that time, I also joined 25 others for training with Tony in San Diego to immerse ourselves with over 10 days of intensive training and public speaking certification. Now, the main reason I'm sharing this with you is because during those years, Tony Robbins was very strong in his male energy and characteristics. His 6'8" stature, powerful stance, vocabulary, voice energy, and much of his training that included detaching female emotions also enhanced his male power. And remember, I immersed myself in training so much so that every time I enrolled people into the Unlimited Power and Power to Influence sales course, I not only attended every month for my clients, but also focused on ways for me to learn and grow as a person. I had no idea how much I also developed my male characteristics during that time until much later, even though I knew how much Tony's characteristics and training enhanced my professional success, as well as providing me with what I needed while raising a daughter and 3 sons as a single mother. It wasn't until approximately 5 years later, while I was participating in speaker certification for coaches with a different company, that I had an empowering breakthrough about male energy. The speaker training provided me the opportunity to participate in live training with 5 different male and female expert trainers for 7 days with a group of 25 other participants. We participated in training during the day and spoke in front of our peer group every evening while also being coached by a different expert coach. The same coach who provided the day training for us was the one we spoke with and worked with in the evening. So it was very, very good. I embraced being coached, but I became frustrated because there was something about my first 3 presentations the 3 coaches commented on that wasn't specific enough for me to understand what I needed to do differently to improve. All 3 gave me positive feedback, but stated there was something they felt was missing. They couldn't quite figure out or put their finger on. I also spoke with many people in my peer group, our amazing peer group, because we met every night after our presentations for feedback to see what input they may be able to provide for me. Supportive team member input, persistence, embarrassing moments, and ask until did pay off eventually, providing me with a valuable coaching from Coach James that helped me in more ways than I could ever have imagined possible. One of my peer group members provided me with a few ideas and suggested I communicate my frustrations and feedback from the other coaches to Coach James prior to my presentation that night. Coach James also asked each of us questions prior to individual speeches, plus asked for input from our peer group during our presentations. Well, into a few minutes of speaking, Coach James asked me to pause for a moment and said, "If I remember correctly, Cheryl, you were trained as a speaker and work for Tony Robbins, correct? Here comes the question. Are you coachable and willing to do what I ask you to do?" A yes with an expert coach and supportive peer group means commitment, especially when the coach asked my peer group to assist him and stay later if needed, and I've committed publicly. This did create fears and was a big stretch outside of my comfort zone for me to commit to, but I must say it was so much easier for me to have the courage to being coached while feeling safe with my amazing, nurturing, supportive, and empowering circle of peers. I felt extremely safe and trusting while allowing myself to feel vulnerable while pushing past fears, plus being held accountable by my coach and group of peers because of the amount of time we had connected and interacting with each other as a team during our training and presentations throughout the week. This was even more empowering and effective for me as a woman because feeling safe is another very, very important natural human need for women. And one of the reasons I'm including interactive, engaging groups of 10 women who meet periodically during every training session for interaction and support during my Women's Heart-Minded Mastermind Live virtual event. So Coach James said, with Tony Robbins as my teacher and trainer, I was modeling Tony's strong male energy without enough female energy during my presentation. He asked me to begin my presentation again, but this time with seductive female energy, maybe even extreme and flirtatious with the men on the stage if I needed to. And this is with me standing in front of them, and they're all sitting in a front row of chairs in a semicircle. Plus, I had to repeat my presentation until Coach James felt I had accomplished the outcome he felt I needed. I felt very awkward and uncomfortable as I began my presentation. It was beginning to feel a little bit easier when it suddenly dawned on me to use the same female energy I feel when I dance West Coast Swing, which isn't extreme female energy, not like a woman with a boa on a stage, but at the same time, healthy feminine expression. Coach James suddenly said, "Wow, who let the genie out of the bottle? Your female energy is already there, Cheryl. You've just been suppressing her when you were on the stage." James said I needed to embrace and share my female and male communication energy, plus teach other women the value of connecting our feminine with male energy, especially while communicating.